I was given a very nice topic, understanding hot and cold cultures. So if I step on my feet or on your feet or on our feet, you still love me. Let's make that agreement first. In the book of Hosea, chapter 4 and verse 6 says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because you have rejected knowledge, I will reject you from being priests for me. Because you have forgotten the law of your God, I will forget your children." Now, when you look at the cultures that are represented here today, some of them are cold, some of them are hot. And working with the cold and hot cultures, sometimes I ask myself, don't they understand me? Why are they looking at me that way? You know, I am talking and it's like they're not hearing me. Because first you are born in a culture and you are going to see a lot of things, filter a lot of things through the glasses of your culture, you know, many times. Just like a simple question, for example, for a long time I didn't realize that when you ask an American, how are you? They just say, "Hesbone, I'm fine." Until I read a book by Bill Hybels that you need to ask them, "How are you really doing?" Then they're able to tell me how they're really doing. You know, but in Africa, you just ask, "How are you?" And someone will tell you, "My wife is sick and my children are doing this." And, you know, they'll tell me their story and their life, how they're doing. You know, and I cannot forget this time. I was talking to a friend of mine, and at the end of it, as an African, I asked him, "How are your children?" And then there was some quietness on the other side of the phone. And then he said, "Hesbone, why are you talking about my children? I don't have children." You know, that is a hot culture talking to a cold culture. And, I said, okay. So over the years, I have realized that there are some questions that you have to learn how to ask them in a cold culture. You know, because I only know how to ask those questions in a hot culture. You know, for example, an African is in your house, you know, and some of them are living in your house. You know, when an African is in your house, he's a guest, you know, and you take them to the kitchen. "Here is our kitchen, and you feel free, brother." It will take them time to feel free. And some of them may even end up sleeping without eating something because they are guests. In our culture, when you come to visit me, I am responsible. I take care of you. You know, one of us spoke here yesterday that he went to Bend, Oregon, and the way he was treated, it felt like family. You know, there was that freedom. There was that sense of belonging that, yes, we are brothers. We are one. But oftentimes, because of our cultures, it is so hard to really understand. And I believe that is why we have that scripture in the book of Hosea, that we need to be sensitive. We need to be a learning movement where we are able to learn. For example, you're in India, and you're asking about, you want to go and pee. You know, and you ask as an American, let me ask Philip Omondi to demonstrate to you the body language when you want to ask an Indian, because they may not even understand your accent. But you want to go and pee, and you want to ask an Indian, how do you do that, Philip? So you simply do this. Thank you. I mean, we just need to be sensitive that we are one family, but there's diversity in our family. For example, you know, when an American is telling an African bye, you know, or when you do this, you're saying goodbye. Yeah, in America, when you say this, you're saying goodbye. But I'm an African, you're telling me to come, so I'll be coming where you are. You know. So, so then, oh, and then you get surprised. What's wrong with you? You say, but you've just called me, you know. So we just need to be sensitive, you know, and things like food. There's this guy from USA came to visit us, and he came on a mission team, and then we prepared some beef, and then this guy started talking and saying, "Where did you buy the beef?" So he said, "From that market. I am not going to eat." You know? Yeah, I have asked that question again and again, and I was told that is not really from a cold culture. That's a little bit different. But to an African sense, that was an abuse. Because when you go to another culture and they put food before you, in some cultures like third world countries, it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of resources. Sometimes somebody is even borrowed just to make the guest happy. And then somebody ends up talking like that, you get so hurt, and you begin to wonder, what's wrong with them? You know, like in Africa, we'll ask, you are saying this guy is born again? No, he's not born again. You know, he's not loving Jesus, you know, because if he's born again, he's my brother, he needs to understand me. And whatever I put before them, you know, they need to appreciate and thank God for it. So brothers and sisters, you know, food is something in a culture that is so important. Wherever you go to Dominican Republic, you go to Latin America, and you find food there. One of the things that is so hurting is when you make your comment against that food. You know, I cannot forget this day. I was in one of the Indian villages, and I was preaching, and it was in summer. It was very hot. Heat waves was killing people, and the food that was before us was having a lot of chili, a lot of pickle. And I was eating and sweating and taking a lot of water, you know. And at the end of it, a guy patted me on the back and said, "Hesbone, you are a good man." I said, "Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, you have enjoyed our food. This is how we eat here," you know. So when you go to a different culture, things like food will be defining. It will make them understand whether you are loving, whether you are there really as a brother or as a sister. So we need to be very sensitive in the statements that we make. In the world, across the cultures, people are looking for genuine love. You know, that, for example, we were in Rwanda with my brother Ephraim, and something happened to us, and that's part of Africa. We ate some food. I don't even know what we ate, because in that part of the world, monkeys and it's a delicacy there. So this was some meat in some milk, and we ate with Ephraim. And then what shocked us most, we were given a big bed, 2 men in a big bed. And these guys really, they refused. We cannot go to the hotel. They wanted us to be there. And that made their day. They still remember that me and Ephraim, we were the first one who were there in Rwanda, and we identify with them. You know, dressing is one of those in cultures that we really need to understand. Like when you come to Kisumu, my place, and you don't like putting a tie, you will have to put a tie. Yeah, because that is what works there. You know? So when I come to your culture here, your cold culture, it's cold, I need a tie, but then I don't have it because I will look odd right here. So I am being sensitive, you know, to your culture. And therefore, you need to be sensitive to my culture as well. So cultures are very important. They are different. They are all unique. I want to give this illustration here. A Kenyan brother with an American brother went into a hotel. The American brother said, "Okay, brother, let's go for lunch." You know, and they went to a hotel and they ate, and the American brother stood and paid his bill and walked away to his car. And the Kenyan brother was wondering, what's wrong with this man? He's the one who invited me to this hotel, and now he has left me here. You know? What's wrong with him? So in that cold culture, it's normal. I paid my bill, so what? But in the whole hot culture, you are the one, you know, who actually started it. So you are responsible for it. You know, so you need to do something about it. We were just coming from this conference some years ago with one of my brothers, and we reached Amsterdam, and he looked at his gift. He was given a gift in America, and it was a box of chocolate. And he looked at his gift, said, "This is the gift that I've been given." And he was so heartbroken. Folks, don't give an African a gift of chocolate. Because chocolate in Africa is for kids. You know, it is not a gift. And that's how we look at it with the glasses of that culture. So I asked this brother, those guys are different in their culture. That is, we need to begin to learn some cultural intelligence in terms of, the way we about dressing, about food, about the gifts that we give to our brothers and sisters, about how we relate with them. So when we are sensitive in learning how they look at things, we'll be able to understand one another, and indeed, we'll be our brother's keeper. When I come to your home and you're not willing to talk to me, Africans, we like talking, and you're always in your bedroom. Because you're obeying your cold culture, that is wrong. In my culture. But in your culture, it is right. So we need to find a way of bridging that so that we remain that one international family that is changing lives, transforming lives around the world. There's another one popping up now, time. In the cold culture, time is so important, but there, time is stretchable. Thank you, Brian. God bless you.